Though it's not a household name like Google or Facebook, Palantir has built something far more powerful, a private intelligence agency, a company with the money, tools, and government contracts to operate like a spy agency without ever being one. So how does a private tech startup end up rivaling the CIA in capability? Let's go back to the very beginning. It's year 2003, and the United States is still reeling from 9/11. National security agencies are drowning in data, phone records, financial transactions, surveillance footage. The problem isn't collecting intelligence at that time. The problem is making sense of it. Enter Peter Thiel, billionaire investor and co-founder of PayPal. He believes that software could solve this exact problem, integrating messy, fragmented data into one clear picture. He brings on Karp, a philosophy PhD who becomes Palantir's CEO, along with a handful of other PayPal engineers. Peter Thiel, Karp, and co-founder Stephen Cohen collectively control nearly half the voting power of the company, no matter what the stock market says. This ensures that Palantir can pursue long-term projects with intelligence agencies without fear of shareholder backlash. But it also means a small group of men effectively dictate how all of Palantir's technology is used and who gets access to it. Meanwhile, the CIA's venture capital arm, Thiel, quietly funds the company. That alone is a huge signal that the intelligence community is betting on Palantir to do what their own systems couldn't. And so Palantir is born, and although it looks like a consumer tech startup, it's actually a counterterrorism tool. However, what raised eyebrows is the secrecy around what they do. As Business Insider called the company, a secret purveyor of government spy technologies once. Palantir is also known for keeping its work, mostly contracts, internal tools, under tight wraps. There are strict confidentiality agreements in place for staff, while you can always find heavy security presence in their offices. Simply put, access to what they are up to is often difficult for even governments. For example, even when the CIA and NSA are subject to congressional oversight or freedom of information, Palantir is not. So what made Palantir different? It's all about the company's signature software, Gotham. It can process thousands of fragmented data streams and fuse them into a single interface. As an analyst, all you need to do is pull up Gotham, and suddenly it all makes sense. A bank transfer in New York links to a SIM card in India, which links to a travel visa in London. Individually, they seem pretty random, but together they paint a picture of a terror cell. This ability to connect the dots is exactly Palantir's business model. Unlike most Silicon Valley startups, the company didn't explode overnight. After its establishment in 2003, Palantir operated in near-stealth mode for nearly a decade, refining its tools and locking down sensitive contracts. That meant expanding beyond Gotham. It kept working on a wide range of advanced software models. There's Palantir Foundry, designed for corporations to analyze supply chains, healthcare data, or financial risk. And then there's Palantir Apollo, a deployment platform that runs Palantir's software anywhere you want. By the late 2000s, its first major US government deals started rolling in, especially with intelligence and defense agencies. Just recently, the US Army gave Palantir a $795 million deal to power Army Vantage, a platform for real-time battlefield intelligence. Meanwhile, the Pentagon brought them in to run AI programs for operational decision-making. The NYPD and German police also signed on for counterterrorism and organized crime analysis. The latest models are so advanced that Palantir's software has been used by law enforcement to even forecast criminal activity, mapping who might commit crimes, where, and when. Palantir was no longer a niche counterterrorism startup. Instead, it had turned into a global data powerhouse. The strategy worked. By 2013, Palantir was valued at $9 billion, making it one of Silicon Valley's most valuable unicorns at that time. Just 2 years later, that valuation had more than doubled to $20 billion. In 2020, the company finally went public with an IPO worth $16.5 billion. And by 2025, Palantir's market cap is fluctuating between $35 and $40 billion. Today, Palantir serves more than 300 organizations worldwide, ranging from nearly every major US federal agency to multiple NATO allies. Corporations realized the same tools could optimize their operations. Banks used Palantir for fraud detection. Pharmaceutical companies also used it to speed up drug discovery. At this point, government contracts contributed to 40% of Palantir's year-over-year growth, while U.S. commercial business expanded by 54%. Beyond just contracts, the company has real success stories too. For instance, during Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, Palantir helped aid groups coordinate disaster relief, tracking supplies and volunteers in real time. In 2021, a national energy utility used Palantir to map wildfire risks and protect communities. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Palantir's Foundry helped governments forecast outbreaks and manage supply chains. In fact, by 2020, 5 of top 10 global pharma companies had signed with Palantir to power the Tiberius system. This system was responsible for tracking the production, administration, and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. These numbers and case studies tell us the story of a company that went from secretive startup to billion-dollar juggernaut in less than 2 decades. Now, for the real question is, why did Palantir take off when so many other data companies didn't? The answer is simple. Palantir solved the data fusion problem that nobody else could. Its 3 flagship platforms, Gotham, Foundry, and Apollo, gave it the flexibility to enter almost any market that needed to make sense of complex data. That's how Palantir built its reputation as the top data mining and analysis company in America. And with government agencies backing it, corporations quickly followed. Of course, if the CIA and the US Army relied on Palantir, it must work. What do you think about the company's rapid yet strategic rise to fame? Well, one thing is certain. Palantir is no longer just a software design company. It's starting to look an awful lot like a private spy agency. And that's it for today. Like this video, and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. And for more such videos, consider subscribing to our channel.